Glasgow. Glasgow is notorious for its melting pot of cultures, showing in the city's population and the incredible art the city is so known for. It is almost impossible to miss the vastness of stellar visual art and form of its architecture and graffiti that has become a welcome addition by its residents. However, it does not end there. The music culture in Glasgow reflects the city's creative integrity. Glasgow is widely recognised as the music capital of Scotland, producing influential acts such as Primal Scream, the Fratellis and Churches, just to name a few. It is clear that Glasgow's vibrant art scene has found international acclaim. In November of 2019, Scotland's music industry was worth around £431 million, made evident by the 38% increase in music tourists between 2017 to 2018. However, in 2020, the UK, as well as the majority of the world, went into lockdown. On the 16th of March 2020, former Prime Minister Boris Johnson made the announcement that a national lockdown would be implemented to stop the growth of the massively spreading coronavirus. The streets were bare. Supermarkets were unable to supply the demand of toilet paper and groceries as citizens panic bought, not knowing what was in store for the future of the country. The world was in chaos. With these lockdown measures put in place, it meant that the live music sector came to a grinding halt. Venues were forced to close their doors, unaware of when they'd be able to reopen again. This led to many people being left unemployed and businesses faced severe financial struggle. Social distancing measures meant that live events in smaller, low-capacity venues were impossible. Between the lockdowns of 2020 and 2021, 101 out of 171 venues were completely closed.
So as a promoter working for 432, how did COVID, like when the pandemics kind of start off, how did you kind of make your income when you know that you weren't able to put gigs on and there was all these limitations to what could be done with live music?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically we just had to stop everything that we did. So I guess like our business, we've kind of got a few different things. Like the main thing is obviously putting on the gigs, but we also run the Hug and Pint as a venue, so it's like a bar and a restaurant as well. And I mean, yeah, basically we just had to stop everything from like during lockdown for 18 months. 432 just couldn't put on any gigs. And then there was like the week before everything started kicking off, and we were starting to like postpone shows, or we're not sure if this show should go ahead. But it was like right up until the deadline, because there was no communication from like government or anything. We had like no official guidance until basically like Boris Johnson came on telly. And then everybody in the office basically went into the office and took their computers home.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, God, this might be over in like, we might not be back in the office for 3 weeks. And then it was a year and a half later. Like before lockdown, we were doing 500 shows a year. Okay. So like we were busy. And then as soon as things opened up again, it was mad because we went from like nothing to turbo, because as you say, it was like 3 years worth of gigs trying to happen in 9 months. You've got all the bands trying to tour, but we've also got cost of living and Brexit happening at the same time. So it's like the market is so difficult to work in. Like, we've got no idea what's going on. You've just survived the maddest, most difficult 2 years that any business in our field will operate, and then like straight away you're being like, oh, by the way, the costs of everything that you used to deal with have now doubled. Well, I mean, I guess it's just like, if you're properly into music, then it's the excitement of seeing the bands that could play the Hydro or could play Barrowlands on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of these big venues would exist if it wasn't for the small venues.
Here lies the resting place of the Blue Arrow Jazz Club, a much acclaimed grassroots venue located in Sauchiehall Street. The space had to close on the 18th of October 2022, with the Arrow stating that times are increasingly hard. This came as a surprise to artists and fans alike, as the venue was loved by many, acting as a space for up-and-coming talent to gain their first taste of live music. The Glad Cafe, found outside the city centre on Pollokshaws Road, has utilised a fully crowd-funded operation, allowing for its doors to stay open after the effects of COVID-19 and its resulting lockdown. The crowd support demonstrates that the music community in Glasgow strongly believes in the values of grassroots music venues and their importance to the Scottish music industry.
When the lockdowns happened, you found out that like small venues had to close down. Like, what was your initial reaction to that?
I was kind of annoyed about it, I guess, because like there wasn't any like funding towards it, and also like disappointed that the whole shit happened, because then it meant that there weren't any venues for the smaller artists. As an artist, I guess band practices were non-existent. Recording was non-existent. So like I kind of took like a step back from the music during that point, because like I couldn't really do anything. My mental health suffered a bit because like I wasn't doing music, and I feel like music's always been a good cathartism for escaping stuff. There wasn't any like government support for that, because like people like working in offices got like furlough and stuff, so like surely they could have funded for like the music venues as well.
So what is it that you love about like small gigs and that, compared to, you know, going and seeing a big gig at like the O2 Academy or the Hydro? Like, what makes the small big gigs that bit better?
I guess I like the fact that you can interact with them, the performers more and stuff, and also as a performer you can interact with the audience easier. Like it's good to be able to actually see them rather than on a screen. It's like you're just like walking around and you're like bumping into people, and then everyone's like pals at the end of the night.
Live music post-COVID has returned and is stronger than it ever was. Grassroots venues still provide the community with amazing live music experiences featuring up-and-coming talent. A heightened appreciation has been formed for small music venues in Glasgow, with what was once lost has returned, bringing in a variety of concert goers to Glasgow, proving once again that Glasgow is Scotland's hub for the arts. In particular, the live music sector.